What to expect on your next 12 weeks with Sustainable Strength. Okay, let's have a look. We are here to help you reach your goals, whatever they may be. So, let's have a look at what we're going to do with you, or what the 12-week program is really about. Really, it is about four key things that we're going to look at. The first one is obviously your training, which is why most people get in touch with us to start with. So we've designed a lifestyle and training program to fit with whatever your current situation might be. The key here is to follow a program which best suits your lifestyle. So this is about finding something that works for you, not something that you've read online, not something that one of your pals has done. It's about really finding something that's going to fit within your current situation, that's going to work in your ecosystem, or what we call our ecosystem, which is a term that you will hear us refer back to a lot. Number two, accountability. So obviously you will be accountable to us and the wider Sustainable Strength group. Obviously we work with several different clients, and we tend to have a weekly group call where we are all held to account. It's a key driver of success. We all know that accountability is important at work. Accountability is important in life, with family. So it makes no sense not to have accountability in your training and your nutrition as well. So if you're not sticking to your plan, you will have to answer to us, and you'll have to answer to others as well. Number three, obviously nutrition. We'll set guidelines, parameters, and we'll work with you to set up process goals to make sure that you can achieve the outcome that you're looking for, whether that's fat loss, muscle gain, muscle mass. It really depends, or even a performance goal. It really depends on what you're trying to do personally. It's good to be said that with our nutrition, as you should already know, really, is that nothing's off limits. This is about, again, creating an ecosystem where everything is driving you towards your goal. And number four, it goes back to that term again, which is ecosystem. So really what the special source of Sustainable Strength is, or our USP if you like, is that we work with you not just on your food, not just on your training, but with other facets of your lifestyle, with other facets of your emotional life, to make sure that everything is pushing you a little bit closer towards your outcome goal, a little bit closer towards success. So we talk often about discussing goals with family. We talk about behavior changes. We talk about how we're going to work with other people to kind of push us towards where we need to get to, and how to overcome any barriers that might come up, especially emotional relationship barriers, whether it be family, whether it be friends, and some of the strategies that we've employed personally to overcome them and make sure that we can stick to a proper sustainable plan. So let's talk about what it is not, or what we're not going to do for you. So, really you need to take ownership of your plan. The next 12 weeks is an education as opposed to a passive process where you can just sit back, do a little bit of training, eat a little better, and you're going to get some amazing results. That's just not going to be the case. You're going to have to put some work in. You are going to have to require input. You're going to have to feed back to us. And it's going to take a few behavior changes. It's going to mean that it takes a little bit of work for you to show us and show yourself that you can make this work. The 12-week plan, what it isn't, I suppose, it is a solution to a problem that you're not willing to address. So my colleague Will loves this phrase of, your previous thinking got you to where you are today. So if you're not where you need to be, or you're not happy, which you're probably not, which is why you're working with us, then you have to accept that you are going to be asked to make a change. Okay, so we need you to be open, we need you to be honest, and in some cases you are going to need to be vulnerable. And it might be a little bit awkward when you're talking about behaviors that you're currently undergoing, or things that you're currently doing which may be sabotaging you, or are barriers to where you need to get to. So let's get that out there right now. We cannot guarantee that you achieve your outcome. Unfortunately, in this world, strength training, body recomposition, fat loss, all these things, they're never linear. And we will work with you to set goals that we think are, and that you think are achievable and are also valuable to you. So we follow the usual SMART goal process of goal setting. But really what we're looking for is helping you set process goals. Now, what process goals do is they just kind of push you 1% towards your outcome goal every single time. So it's about hitting small processes consistently so that the end result is almost irrelevant. Okay, because we know that if we hit all our process goals over time, we will get to where we want to be. Now, that outcome might change over time, but essentially what you are going to get is a good outcome. So, this is not a guaranteed route to achieving a goal. It might be ups, there might be downs, there might be plateaus. It might take longer, it might take shorter. We don't know. All we can do is set the processes that we know work, and if you stick to them, you will get a result of sorts. What we are not, again, and we've highlighted this one, we're not a lifestyle babysitting club. You are an adult, and we'll hold you accountable to the change that you're willing to put in place, and we'll hold, you are in charge of this whole 12-week process. So it's not, don't expect just to sit casually back and expect everything to kind of work, and then turn to us at the end of 12 weeks and go, oh well, nothing happened, nothing worked. If you weren't filling in your data, if you weren't kind of relaying anything back to us, we cannot help you if you do not communicate. So you have to be active in this process. This is not a one-way street. We are not here just to simply give you a training plan, some nutritional guidelines, and you're going to be cover model ready in 12 weeks. It just doesn't work like that. Okay, how it works. So most of your results will come from 20% of your hard efforts, okay? And 80% of your work is just showing up consistently, okay? So that's a Pareto principle, which we've kind of stolen or borrowed, but it's pretty standard. I think most people have heard of that before. What we're trying to say here is that actually the hard parts are really 20%. 80% of your success will just be consistently hitting very basic processes, very basic process goals. And we've kind of highlighted three sort of key things that we focus on, obviously. Number one is your nutrition. So good eating and drinking strategies are key. And we will go through those with you. We'll work out your calorie content. We will work out your macronutrient content. All these other things will be done with you, and also a little bit for you as well. Your training, we will talk to you about your training. We'll give you some solid programming, so you know that if you follow the solid programming, then the chances are you're going to get a result. And again, if you follow the processes of good training, then you will get a result, you will get a outcome. But the key one again is lifestyle. So most of your gains will happen here. So if you train for 3 hours a day, 3 hours a week, say, or 4 hours a week, I think that equates to about 1.78% of the total time of which of your week, basically. So that essentially means you've got 99% of the rest of the time is an opportunity to sabotage what you've done in that training session. So your lifestyle is where most of the gains and most of the magic is going to happen. So it's really important we just don't sort of skirt over things like sleep. We don't just skirt over things like our mindset. We don't skirt over our ecosystem and making sure that everyone's on board, make sure that everyone understands, and make sure that there's no one out there trying to sabotage. We're not trying to sabotage ourselves, okay? So you've got to get these things in place first before we start thinking about, how many grams of protein I should be eating or what supplement I should be taking. I use this term, mowing the lawn when your house is on fire. Most people focus on the bottom two arrows in this little diagram and not the top one, and the top one is the one that counts. Okay, so let's have a look at some of the tech we use. Now, tech could probably be put in inverted commas here because it really is quite basic stuff. We use Google Sheets. The reason we use Google Sheets is they're free, they're accessible, they show you data on a desktop, and it can be done on phone as well. You will need a Gmail account to access your dashboard. You'll make a copy, we'll send it to you. You can save it on your phone, save it on your desktop. And this is where most of your data will lie. We can also see it quite comfortably and quite clearly, which means that, we can always check up on what's going on. We've got proper data there to take a look at. The other one we use generally is MyFitnessPal, or any calorie tracker really. It doesn't make too much sense, but MyFitnessPal is our preferred one. We find it's got the most registered foods on there. It's pretty simple to use. It's a scan and set app, so you can download that onto your iPhone. Pretty simple. We do monitor sleep within the lifestyle section of this education, so downloading a sleep app is helpful. It's not essential, but we do ask that you do monitor your sleep as best you can. Sleep cycle is just one, but there's plenty. And if you've got a smartphone or smartwatch, a lot of those do it for you automatically now anyway. We do communicate sometimes through WhatsApp. Generally, they're broadcast text, so it's not for general conversation. We try and use email for that. Okay, so if you do have a question, if you do have something specific you want to talk to us about, then email is the best form. Also, we do ask you to email us any questions before the accountability call weekly, so that we can actually have a chance to deep dive into any questions that might keep reoccurring, or deep dive into a question that's particularly troubling for you. Okay, it's about helping you get the most out of your training while you're with us. So, assessing your performance. Well, how do we know that we're winning? Yeah. Well, there's two measures that we have. We have objective measures and we have subjective measures. Now, objective measures are data points essentially. Now, we will go through those in your program, which again is registered on your Google sheet. But objective data essentially is observable and measurable data. So signs that you're winning. And if you don't keep score, how do you know you're winning? It's things like, how much weight is a classic one. So if we regularly test your weight, then we know if the weight's going down, chances are we're losing body fat. If the weight's going up, chances are we're probably either gaining fat or potentially gaining muscle, depending on what type of processes are happening within our training, within our nutrition. So again, sometimes the data doesn't tell us the whole story. So we also need subjective measures. And that's what I call the art to go with the science. So when we talk about subjective data, we talk about visual perception, so things like selfies. So we've got a before and after. That is actually a before and after. We didn't turn someone into into a dad bod. We had a guy who was working with us, and he lost a significant amount of weight over the course of periods. So we just got the pictures back to front there. So don't panic if you're looking at that. But it's things like that. So there we can say, well, his weight may be the same in those two photos, but obviously we can see a distinct difference because we're using subjective measures to match with our objective measures to understand what's happening in his body, in his physique. But also the subjective measures also help us with things like emotional state, motivation, and any other kind of ecosystem facets of your everyday life that are really going to play into your training and into the results that you're essentially going to get. So it's important that we use those two ways of measuring and assessing your performance. So getting your results, we're here to essentially guide you through the next 12 weeks. As said before, progress, will never be linear. There'll be ups and downs, plateaus, and everything in between. I've just used this very, very basic chart here, which was a beginner that I worked with many moons ago. And you can see that the development was essentially all over the shop. That's just the first 4 weeks. So, there was ups, downs, lefts, rights, massive peaks. And obviously, if I'd have shown you the whole 12 weeks, you'd have seen that red line tails off pretty quickly, as you can imagine. And just down the bottom is a timeline of what you can expect. So if you're watching this and you're completely fresh to it, we might have sent it to you, or you might be any point on this little timeline down the bottom. We tend to get people to start with our Launchpad program, which is 2 weeks. From there, they get a basic understanding of how we work, what we value in coaching, what we value in training, what our processes look like. it's a good start, a good sort of solid base understanding. Some people just do the Launchpad program and they get enough, they glean enough information, they're ready to go from there. Other people want a little bit more. They want a little bit more sort of fast track work. They want to be a little bit more dialed in. So what we'll then do after that is we'll have a pre-coaching call where we'll talk about, if you're actually best fit for this program, if you're ready to commit, and if you're ready in the right mindset, in the right headspace to actually do it. If we all decide together that yeah, we're in a good place and we're going to move ahead, we'll start a 12-week program. Obviously, that's 12 weeks, that's 3 months, and obviously we continue to monitor and evaluate throughout those 3 months. At the end of the 12-week program, there's a post-program next steps, and that might be in the case of a call, or we might have a group meeting when we do that, depending on how you've set up with us. And then from there, you have the option to just go off, carry on, do what you need to do, or you can subscribe to our monthly membership, which is an ongoing paid plan. It's obviously greatly reduced compared to the 12-week program because most of the bulk of your education will be in that 12 weeks. But the monthly program allows you to kind of get all the benefits, still have access to us, but you'll have a much deeper understanding of where your body is at and what needs to be done to improve. So you won't be probably relying on us that much. So it's a slight step back from us, but we're always on hand to help. We're always on hand to take training. And in the post-program next steps, it might be that you want to change your focus. So the monthly membership might be, you might want to start another 12-week program intensely focusing on something else, or you might want to go into a monthly membership, but both options are there for you anyway. So hopefully that helps, guys. If you need to contact us, if you want to talk to us one-to-one about the 12-week program, please do. You can get in touch on info@sustainablestrength.co.uk, or you can use our WhatsApp, which the phone number is down there below. We don't pick up the phone. Okay, it's either WhatsApp or email, please, because we're just too busy with other bits and pieces to be picking up the phone every 5 minutes. So feel free to get in touch. If you get in touch, you can book a call and we can go through all this with you. We can have a little chat about what your goals are, whether you think that you can work with us, whether we think we can work with you. And from there, whatever happens, either way, we'll give you some information, and hopefully you'll go away a lot more comfortable, a lot more happy, and ready to smash whatever it is you choose to smash in terms of your own personal goals. Okay, so that's it from us. Speak soon. Please feel free, get in contact, follow us on social media, and we'll see you soon. Bye now.